How's it, guys? We are looking at a supporting diet. This is module 4. A supporting diet is extremely important when you're faced with challenging emotions such as anxiety, depression, when you want to let go of a lot of the heaviness. A good diet, lots of what you take in, including sun, water, minerals, etc., which we'll all be discussing, is exceptionally helpful and is great for this journey ahead. And for me, it's become a daily life, a routine, a habit, a lifestyle as you could call it, and not just a diet for a specific period in time. So very first off, you want to cut out the sugars. So if I speak about sugars, I'm not speaking about the natural sugars which are in fruits and veggies. I'm talking about the chemically white sugars, chemically made sugars that are typically found in your sweets, in your chocolates, in lots of food, lots of supplement sources, in alcohol. So very first off and very important is to eliminate as much as possible the white sugars out of your daily life. So for me, at the beginning of this journey, that was quite a challenging thing because I would love to eat chocolates, sweets, and especially the way they made me feel. It made me feel good after I ate a chocolate, you know, the sweetness, the rush, the enjoyment of it. And typically when I had lows, the sugars would be my highs. But as they say, everything that takes you on a high takes you on an opposite low. So you'd go through sort of highs and lows, and that's the main challenge with sugars, with alcohols, with anything that gives you the instant or immediate high. It's great for a bit, but it takes you into the opposite low as well. So the low is just so much more profound than the high. So being on a natural growth or on a natural ebb is better. So you want to have that natural sort of stable line without the growth and the low. So without the heavy highs and without the heavy lows. And you get that from your sugars or removing the sugars out of your diet. So most important is if you are drinking alcohol, try and remove it completely. If you need to feel that you still need to keep the alcohol for a period, then the alcohol that's okay with sugars are pretty much your whiskey and your white wines. And so those are your alcoholic beverages that don't have too much sugars in them and that still are okay in this supporting diet. But if you can, remove the alcohol completely, because what happens is any alcohol that you consume, your system can't really process and it automatically converts into a sugar. And this sugar just creates this constant high in your system and creates an inflammation. So sugars really aren't great at all for us and haven't been part of the human diet. They've only really been introduced into this modern diet to create a craving, to create a need for specific products, etc. In the beginning, this will really be difficult because you'll be challenged with the cravings. And so try and complement your sweet sugars with natural sugars. And the way you want to do that is with fruits and fruit juices and vegetables. And so what I did in the evenings, I would typically have freshly squeezed orange juice or whatever I could run through the smoothie maker and have that sit next to my bedside table. And when I would wake up at night and I would have a big craving, I would drink this. And so during the whole day, I would drink a lot of juices because for me, eating fruits at the time wasn't really something I enjoyed. The juice was quick, it was easy, and it was really beneficial for me and my system because it still gives you a great feeling and it's still great for your overall nutrients into your body, etc. Very important about the sugars is that you look at the labeling and the packaging of the product. So when you go shopping, do yourself a favor and always turn around the package or the product that you're buying or looking at buying, and see what type of sugars this product carries. And again, check out the link below in this module. There is a variety of names that the manufacturers use to disguise sugars, amongst others syrup and some of them so they have all these different names and wording that they associate to the word sugar and disguise as such. And you really want to stay away from products that are high in sugar. And the way you know how much sugar is in this product that you're buying is typically the way that the ingredients are labeled from the first to the last. So the higher up in the labeling the word sugar or the disguised word sugar comes up, the more sugar is actually profound in this product or in this packaging. And so for me, this was kind of challenging because I really never looked at packaging. I really just bought whatever I felt was right, whatever looked good. And you know, we get really, it's an advertising game out there. We get bombarded by the game of colors, about packaging, look, the feel, online, TV. And so we just buy what we think is good and what's been told or what we've grabbed or hooked into. And so it's an important journey to keep looking at the back of the products and the material to make sure that you don't buy products that are sugar rich. You rather buy products that are without sugar and add natural sugars like honey, etc. Next up is the important role of water. It is crucial that you consume a lot of water during your journey, and also during your journey of letting go of these challenging emotions and going through the challenging space that you might be. Water plays an extremely important role, as our system is made up about 80-90% of water, and taking in a lot of water is very, very important. And remember, with the coping tool above, it's what type of water are you taking in. So first off, a lot of waters, if you buy them from the shop, they've removed a lot of the minerals and then put some back. We refer to this as reverse osmosis. And a lot of this isn't really beneficial to your system at all. But obviously, depending where you stay or where you come from, getting good quality waters can be very challenging. So it's very important to try and find a source of quality healthy water. And quality healthy water is typically natural water that comes from a spring, from a farm, from a borehole. And there are obviously certain brands that you can buy in the shops that still honor good quality healthy water. So first off, start and make sure that you get good water and you're taking quality water, not water that's enriched in chemicals such as chlorine or reverse osmosis, where they've taken some stuff out and put some stuff back. This is really not going to help you much at all. Then it's how much water do you actually take in. And so the typical notion out there is 2 liters, 2.5 liters. What I've come to find, what really works well for me, is for every 25 kilograms that you weigh, you take 1 liter of water. So I weigh 85 kilograms. So for me, that's roughly around 3.5 liters of water. And that might sound a lot. And in the beginning, I really had to force myself to drink as much, or to teach myself to get into the habit of drinking as much. But it's a really good, it's really good for your system, and doing it daily is vital, because doing it one day, leaving it the next day, and doing it again the next day is not good, because your system really becomes used to storing water if you don't get enough water in. And this is typically visible when you do start with diets or exercise programs. The very first weight you actually lose is just the water that your system is getting rid of. And you'll realize this when you start your journey with drinking enough water every day for a consistent period of days, is you start to lose a lot of weight. And this is just your system letting go of the water that it's kept in your body. And we call those water retention. So you'll often find that when you press at certain spaces of your body, you'll just see that it feels wobbly and there's a lot of water in your system, in your body. And after a while, after you've consumed enough water for a continuous period, your system has become used to getting and absorbing this water and actually not retaining it, so not holding on to it, just allowing it to flow. And that's really what you want to get into, is this flow, because you want to get rid of a lot of toxins. So part of the supporting diet is eating healthy, living healthy, and as you're starting to feed your mind and your whole body and everything healthy, benefits, coping tools, etc., you'll see that your body is letting go of a lot of toxins, and the water is the most important process of helping your system flush out those negative and those bad toxins out of your system and out of your body. So try and make this one of the first habits that you get used to, is cutting out the sugars and in reinforcing your system with a good intake of daily water. On the water, you can use the Body Talk hydration method that just reinforces your system to absorb the water fully. There's also a pattern, it's called the Flower of Life. And it's a beautiful pattern that you can typically print online, get online, and you can put it underneath your water before you drink it. And again, this might sound absurd and crazy, but there's a whole theory. There's actually a Japanese physicist that looks into how they've converted, or what the effects are of water and blessing water. And as crazy as it is, you can go and research him, check out the link below. You'll see that he takes certain waters taken from different sources, and some waters are labeled with love, other waters are labeled with hate, some are played good sort of instrumental piano music, others are more aggressive music, other waters are blessed. And you can find that when they look at the water crystals on a microscopic level, that the water that's been blessed, that the water is carrying the word love, that the water is in a vibration, really has a very beautiful pattern of its crystal structure. So you do influence the water from blessing the water or putting it on these patterns, such as the Flower of Life. And for me, again, speaking out of personal experience, it really was part of the healing and the growing journey. So what I do daily is, before I drink anything, before I eat anything, hence also praying before you eat food, I bless the water that I'm taking in. And you can do this as you please or as you like. Some people add crystals to it, some people put the water on into sunlight, which is also very good. So if you've got sunlight coming into your home, and you can have your water exposed to sunlight first, that's very good and very beneficial. Remember that you want to put the water in a glass holder, not plastic. Glass is imperative and very good. And these days you get all sorts of different water holders, etc. Some even with crystals inside of them. And these crystals all carry a different vibrant or frequency that they sort of attune to the water. And there's a lot of research and a lot of information and documentation out there that links onto this thesis and into this practice. And it's not for me to go into deeper discussions about this, but it is worth looking into it, and it really did work for me. So next up, very important, is you want to get sun in. So sunlight on a daily basis, at least 20 minutes, and if you can, 75% of your body. So that just means getting out there and getting into the sun as often as you can, and for at least 20 minutes. So sun really, or the sunshine, vitamin E is really great for our body and is really important part of also helping with the release of toxins and just putting us into a space of warmth and in a good state. So try and get as much sunlight as you possibly can. Next up would be minerals, and very important is if you're going through a lot of anxiety and you've got, you have depressed states and moments, panic attacks, magnesium is essential, guys, and really look at how you can get magnesium into your body, as well as vitamin B. And there's different ways and different products out there. What I've just found what really works well and what's good to look at is the more natural you can go, the better. And so try and find a natural product that typically dissolves under the tongue, and there's so many different versions of magnesium options out there, but the natural ones are the ones you want to look at and you want to take in daily, because magnesium just is great for your muscles and for the tension that you build up when you are anxious, because when you're anxious your whole system obviously constrains or contracts and you go into a tense space, and so your muscles are very tense and very hard, and magnesium just really helps you to relax those muscles and just go into ease. And with that, I would also strongly suggest Epsom soap baths. So you want to make a warm soap bath in the evening and you want to throw some Epsom salts in it. Sometimes they come with lavender or Himalayan rock crystal salt. So again, not just any salt, but this Himalayan rock crystal salt is really good for your body and really also helps with taking out toxins from your system and relaxing those muscles and your body. And again, when your outer body, your physical body is relaxed, you'll immediately feel that inner emotional body in a more relaxed and ease of space. And you want to teach your body. So you want to do this on a regular basis. So in the beginning, if you're going through a lot of anxious states, do it daily. And at a later space, do it once every or 3 times a week, and then later again just once a week. But you really want to again build a habit of doing this regularly. And if you're struggling with building a habit, then the next module I'm going to be speaking about will really be good for you, where we're going to be speaking about building empowering habits. So magnesium, Epsom baths, salts are a critical factor when you are working through releasing or detoxing or getting away from emotional intenseness such as anxiety, etc. Very big part of my shift came at the end of my journey, if you could call it such. And if I say the end of where I was struggling with things like anxiety and fearful emotions or struggling emotions. And this was about the time where I already had started to really look at my habits and building empowering habits, drinking a lot of water, getting the sun in, really being in a space of awareness and making sure that my body and my mind and my soul was receiving goodness from out there. And a very important part is food, guys. And I come from Namibia, which is in Africa. And here it's all around eating meat and meat and meat. So you get born into a community, that just is all about eating meat as much as you can. Leave everything else away and just get meat in. And especially as a man, we have something we call braai, and that is a community effort. You do this every weekend. You would braai meat and you would eat a lot of meat. And for me, the big learning was to let go of meat. And I'm not saying that you should, but it was something that really worked for me, is really looking at what is good for us. And you'll find this show on Netflix called The Game Changers, which really opened my eyes and allowed me to see from a scientific perspective and from a stats perspective what the role of animal products are actually about. Before that, I'd heard it in books, I'd been speaking to friends about it, I've been speaking to people that were actually vegans at the time, vegetarians, and it really wasn't never for me, because I just didn't feel it was right. Especially yogurts and milks, etc. I was all around it can't be bad. I mean, yogurt must be the most healthy thing in the world. What are these people speaking about? But the moment I looked deeper into it, and then most importantly tried it for myself, and this is what I keep saying, guys, it's not about what somebody tells you to do, it's about you learning yourself through doing and then feeling into it and seeing if it works for you. And so for me it was about doing it myself, trying it out and seeing, you know, is there such a change? Does this work at all for me? And after doing it for a bit, I really started to realize the energy in my body lift up, my mood increased significantly, pains that I would be having were just gone. So and weight, I would just keep losing weight and really feel great about, you know, who I am. I would feel vital. I would get a lot of compliments of how, you know, young I look again. And I guess this was just what you take in is who you are, is what you express out. So you are what you eat. And for me it was really about learning to unlearn a lot of the things that I thought were right for me, that I thought were healthy for me, like yogurts, like milk, like meat. These are all things that I really thought were important for me as a human and that I needed on a regular basis. And the more I learned and looked into it and the more I researched it, I actually found that we as humans are really made for grinding. So we made for fruits and nuts and vegetables, and you know, that's what we thrive on. And again, not to say that meats are wrong and that milks are wrong. And again, every human has got a different way of working or absorbing different nutrients. And all that I realized was important for me was that on certain things that you absorb, such as meats and yogurts, etc., different people react differently, and this creates an inflammation in your system. And for some it might be minor, for others more major, and that's why you have these allergic reactions, and you have different people reacting out on things such as milk and yogurts, etc. And so even if there's a little reaction, it's still a reaction, which just means it's not ideal for your body and for your system. The big thing was all around protein. So where are you going to get your proteins from? Where are you going to get your proteins from? And so I just said to myself, well, let's look at it when it comes there, when my body craves. And at around month 3, there was a lot of craving. I really wanted to eat much more, but there was never the sense of that I was missing meat. In contrary, I actually completely let go of the need or the crave of wanting to eat meat. I also really don't even have the notion of drinking milk at all, which was a habit in my coffee on a daily basis. And so there was also a big part of me having to unlearn to drink coffee with milk, which was a specific acquired taste. And so in the beginning, black coffee really didn't taste good for me. But after week 2 or 3, it really had a distinct good taste about it, and I just felt so much better. And I realized that when I had coffee with milk, there was always this feeling in my tummy that wasn't good after I had the coffee, but I didn't pick it up then. I only had the opportunity to pick it up while I'd let go of it. And again, this is an important role of learning to eat what's right for you. The more you test and trial and try it out for yourself, the more you'll feel what feels good for your body and what's right for your body. This is my suggestion to you, is to go out there and to look at different diets and to look and try them out for yourself and see what works for your body. But really do look at the vegan lifestyle. For me, it was a big eye-opener. It allowed me to feel good and not just to look good, from a sense of losing a lot of weight and being more vital in my body, having a lot of energy, you know, running every day of my life. It really is about what you put into your body.